Hey friends! Long time no see. It has been 6 months since the last episode of Ainespirations. And this will be my final video for 2025 at least. Thank you for sticking with me, for staying, for supporting, liking, and watching Ainespirations. I was gone for 6 months because I fell in love. And no, it's not what you think. We'll get into that in a bit. Hey friends, it is Ayn. Welcome to another session of Inspirations where I leave you with inspirational questions to guide your week. In this case, gently guide us through the rest of 2025. Maligayang Pasko, Merry Christmas, Bon Natale, Feliz Navidad, Salamat Hari Natal, quick liturgical grounding. Context matters. We've concluded Advent. So Advent is a 4-week preparation before the birth of Christ, marked by 4 Sundays where we light the Advent wreath. Tatlong violet, 3 violet candles, and 1 rose-colored candle. Advent symbolizes hope, preparation, joy, and love. But even though Advent has ended, we had Christmas, December 25. Christmas is not yet over. Please do not take down your Christmas decorations just yet. We are currently in the Christmas season, in the Octave of Christmas, which began on December 25 and ends on January 1. The word octave means octava dies in Latin. I hope I pronounced it right, meaning eighth day. In the Catholic Church, an octave is an 8-day period of extended celebration. So, it's the more Christmas parties. And January 1, while celebrated in the secular world as New Year's Day, it is also the solemnity of Mary, Mother of God, a powerful reminder that we begin the year by asking our Mother to journey with us this 2026. Now, let me get back to what I said earlier. I was gone for 6 months because I fell in love. And though it wasn't the person, I fell in love with God in a deeper, more confronting way, more honest way. I wanted to be a religious sister, actually. That's what it looked like for me the past 6 months. What that means is being a consecrated woman to God. You give yourself entirely to God for life. You live in a community and serve the church. When I was contemplating on how I wanted to share this story, I kept hearing and thinking about Isaiah chapter 6 verse 8. Here I am, Lord, send me. That is how I felt. On my birthday, I went to adoration. So I visited my friend Celine. Hi Celine. She's a postulant in the religious community that I decided to discern with. So I came there to come and see. I'm in the last lap of the Roaring Twenties. I started the business failed. I didn't know where my life was headed. I was fearful because, again, this is the last lap of the Roaring Twenties and I haven't had any clue on what I wanted to do next in my life. I had ideas on what I wanted to do, but on my birthday, I went to adoration. I clearly heard God was telling me, don't be afraid to love me too much. And I realized I was afraid to love Him too much because He might call me to become a religious sister, which was my fear. And then after that, after He told me that during adoration, I took that as a sign. For several months, I discerned with the community. I fell in love with silence, with holy obedience, with asking questions without demanding immediate answers. For the past 6 months, I entered a season of discernment, specifically discerning religious life. And I want to be clear about this, okay? Discernment doesn't always mean you end up exactly where you thought you would, but it always brings you closer to the truth. That season required me to take a step back, not just from content, but from noise, from expectations, from timelines I had placed on myself. And then after several visits, the superior and I, we both came to a conclusion, a completion. We both agreed that it is best for me not to join the community and to serve God outside of the convent, which I was really at peace with that decision. I remember we were talking and I told her, I don't really know how to tell you, but I know in my heart, I'm so grateful for the time that I spent with you, for you opening your doors so I can pray with everyone. But that day when we spoke, I just had a conviction in my heart that it isn't for me. But that doesn't mean that I'll stop there. The practices that I had developed over the past 6 months, it sustains me and strengthens my faith. So I'm still going to continue the prayer life that I have cultivated. And also during this past 6 months, my family also experienced two deaths. I won't dwell on it too much. Those deaths reminded me that life is never meant to be rushed. Memento mori. And somewhere between the pain, warm memories, chaotic moments, God speaks. And so those two deaths also contributed on that journey of discerning where I want to head next. You may ask, Kain, why are you sharing this? I'm making this video because maybe, just maybe, someone out there feels a quiet tug in their heart, a curiosity, restlessness, a question they've been too afraid to name, to tackle. If that's you, hear this clearly. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't need to rush. Discernment begins with a relationship with God. Remember, God does not force vocations, He invites. And real love always respects freedom. Again, when I was discerning, initially I didn't want to because I had a lot of fears. Of course, my parents didn't want me to become a religious sister, but then I really prayed for it. And during those times that I have been visiting the community, I would ask God, is this what you want me to do? If this is what you want me to do, here I am, Lord, send me. And then after that, the day that I had the answer where he told me that it's not for you. I have a different plan for you. I accepted it wholeheartedly, but at the same time, I also had fears on what the next chapter might look like. How long will I be waiting for the next answers to be revealed? But then, a thing that the past 6 months taught me is that just surrender to God. When you do complete surrender, the answers come. It may not be the answers that you want, but it is the answers that you need. And so I've embraced this next chapter of my life. And our inspirational question is, how are you cultivating a real relationship with God in 2026? To transition, I want to leave you and remind you, if you're Catholic, also for the non-Catholics, I want to share with you the seven sacraments. Our Catholic faith is enriched with the seven sacraments, namely baptism, confirmation, the Eucharist, reconciliation, anointing of the sick, matrimony, and holy orders. The sacraments of initiation are baptism, confirmation, and the Eucharist. While the sacraments of healing are penance or confession and anointing of the sick, and the sacraments at the service of communion are matrimony and holy orders. I wanted to remind you that they are practiced because they lay foundation for our Catholic life. Please make use of the sacraments. The sacraments are ways for us to get closer to Christ and to receive grace in our lives, to receive graces for our families, and to sharpen our relationship with the Lord. All right. What's next for me? After having a talk with the superior, conclusion, both of us, which I agree, she also agrees, I've come to understand that this season in my life is about deepening my mission where I am now. I'm intentionally focusing on inspirations, longer forms of videos will be on my personal Facebook page and then on my YouTube channel. And then I still have instantaneous.com, the blog for my written work. And then I recently launched a real style content creation, which I call Ainventures. I go on inspirational Ainventures. So please do follow the Facebook page. I'm also leaving a link down on the comment section. And then I still have Gawaan ni San Jose, the blog I did for our woodworks business. Please subscribe to the newsletter and support. And that's the answer. This is where I'm called to serve right now through storytelling and creating spaces for reflection. So as we close this final video of 2025 during the Christmas season, I'll leave you with this. Never rush your journey, your healing, your calling. The most important thing I learned this year is cultivate a real relationship with God, not performative, not rushed, not conditional, just real. Because when your relationship with God is rooted, everything else will follow. Okay? Thank you for walking with me. And thank you for being a part of this journey. I'll see you again in 2026. See you on the next episode of Inspirations. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye!